Hello, welcome to the Concrete CMS Town Hall for June 2023. It's just me. Andy's on vacation, doing some delightful family fun stuff with his kids and wife. I don't know, somewhere probably with water. So you're stuck with just me, which means today is going to be fun-filled, but probably also brief. What do I know that's going on? Not a lot in the news. We are sitting on 921. I think we are wondering if there's any other big, any big issues that need to be resolved in 9.2. No hammer has dropped, so that will be released before long. Although without Andy next to me, I don't have an official date. And beyond that, we're working on an internal project, which is super cool and going to be great for the concrete ecosystem in the big picture, but I can't tell you anything about it. So not a lot of news to share, I'm afraid. Hopefully that will change in the coming months. Let's jump right into the thank yous. Concrete being an open source project, we are here on the backs of many people, and we just like to take a quick moment to appreciate some of you individually for all the hard work that you do. So for some of the key things that need to happen, for working on code and contributing in GitHub, we would like to thank Jeremy Rogers, M. Locati, Lemon Brain MK, and Biplop. I'm being told. For reporting GitHub issues, we'd like to thank Sherry Mary B, Transvoid, John the Fish, Dalton Bank Project, Cats Uno, Lemon Brain MK, Tac Tac, Marcin Presporkia, Gutig, Catalysis, Jans Carton, Cateo, Biplop, Kruglas, Levite, and Kurt Kunin. And for contributing documentation, we'd like to thank Rescribble and Bassie98. Thank you for everything that you guys do and gals to contribute to our project. It's really cool to be part of something that is bigger than any individual. Thank you also in absentia to Andy, who normally gets to figure out how to pronounce all those handles. In addition to those call outs for just kind of individual actions that we have been able to detect through our systems, we have a Golden Baton Award that is passed from one community to a member to another every month. This award really shows that you are an active member of the community and that other folks beyond just us here at Portland Labs really appreciate what you're doing. Last month, it was given to Webpresso, I think. It's been a long-time community member. And you get a badge. You also get $250 worth of marketplace credit. And you get listed on our Golden Baton page on concretecms.org. So it's a pretty cool honor. This month, the award is being handed on to really a shop, but an active community member nonetheless. We would like to congratulate Six Tematic. Number 6, TEMATIK, is a agency based in France that does very cool looking websites. We've got a few of their projects in the case studies section on concrete. Always very happy to show off their work. It's very choice. So good work, Systematic. We appreciate you. We see the hard work that you're doing, and that we're stoked that you've chosen concrete to build your awesome projects on. Okay, we are forging right along without the wandering banter of Franz and Andy. Let's jump into the PRB review. Let's see if I can do this on my own.
Hello. Today in our PRB news, John, Justin, and myself will be presenting you 2 packages and 1 theme. Our first package is Proxy for Google Fonts by M. Locati. If you take user privacy and GDPR rules seriously, you'll probably want this package. Chances are your website is using Google Fonts. This means you're linking to a third-party website which may or may not be gathering data about your users. You could self-host your fonts, which would require a rewrite of your website, or you could make your life easier and let this package do the heavy lifting for you. It will analyze your pages and style sheets and will rewrite any reference to Google Fonts on the fly to use a local proxy. To be clear, it will rewrite references in both the page and style sheets. In other words, it will protect your users' privacy by adding a filter between them and the Google Fonts website. And it will also optionally cache the results to minimize the impact on performance. This must-have package is v9 and PHP 8 ready, and it is $20 in the marketplace. And now on to Justin to present you our next package.
Good morning, everyone. JP here. Today I'll be introducing Page Redirect, developed by XB385. This add-on is very easy to use. It installs a page redirect attribute in the navigation and indexing section that you can use to redirect a page to any other page or external link in your sitemap. Simply apply the attribute to a page, choose a page to redirect to, and you instantly have a 301 redirect to the page of your choice. Page Redirect is version 9 only, and it is free in the marketplace. Now we'll pass it off to John for more news. Until next time, everyone take care.
Thank you, Nor and Justin. Our theme this month is Nexus by developer Code G. Nexus is based on the Bootstrap 5 framework and the core Bedrock. Nexus comes with some extra blocks. Here we can see the hero slider with a slide-in effect on the text overlay. And as we scroll down, this is a fun facts block. It's an animated counter block that counts up to a number. And down in the footer here, we have a links block, which is a kind of manual nav block. If I scroll back up, you can also see some of the bundled templates for the core blocks. All the usual core blocks are nicely templated to fit in with the theme. We have the usual page templates for sidebars and stuff like that, and a good selection of containers. There's also 3 additional presets in addition to this default scheme we're looking at. Here we have the green preset, and here we have the blue preset. The marketplace price for Nexus is $35. That's all for this month. Thank you and goodbye until next time.
Right on. Some cool stuff there, some very handy add-ons, and a delightful looking theme. Love it. Love the color palette switch in there, and yeah, for $35, that one's a bargain. So great to see that theme approved. Yeah, nice to have some new version 9 themes coming in. So thank you, Code G. Thank you to everybody working on the PRB. And thank you to the PRB for making that video for me. Super handy every month. All right. If you have any questions, now's the time to be sending them, because as I mentioned earlier, this one is going to be short and brief. But I do have one concrete site that we found in the wild that I can show off if anybody has any questions to throw at us in chat. I'll give you a little window to do that while I figure out how to share my other screen here. Let's see. Share screen. Yeah, that's the one I want to share. Hey-oh, Bedford Blues rugby team. So I think rugby's pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool that the Bedford Blues website's built with concrete. So blue, not surprisingly. You can see, big mega menu, lots of different stuff that is going on here. Content heavy site with lots of different pages. There's some cool functionality. Obviously you can get tickets and shop. There's also a club directory where you can see a list of different folks, and I think you can actually get over to a contact form from there. Yeah, so I wonder if this is going to actually go to that person or if we're all just going to the same contact form. It's a general inquiry, but interesting nonetheless. Yeah, imagine that this site gets some pretty big spikes in traffic when games are happening. Looks like pretty active news section, 140 pages of blog posts. So yeah, pretty cool one to just find out there in the wild. Sports teams using concrete to build stuff. All right, that's what. Oh, don't press that. That's what I know about sites in the wild. The only question that I've kind of seen that we're chatting about internally, I guess I can share a little bit on this one. Let's see if I can share my screen again. Share screen. There is this GitHub thread. Boom. Talking about the new edit mode styling in 9.2. So if you haven't played with 9.2, you're still on an older version of Concrete, you should definitely give it a try. You can go to concretecms.com and just click try it up top, and you'll get into a copy. And you will find when you pop the page in edit mode, there are larger hotspots that the containers have names. We've kind of like added a bunch of spacing to it. And in fact, this screenshot does an excellent job of showing exactly what that feels like. You can see there's these kind of larger labels on areas. We put some spacing inside of containers. It just kind of spreads things out in edit mode a little bit. If I scroll over here, you can see someone comparing that to, well, actually, this is just what the page looks like outside of edit mode. My experience, and I know other experience of people who I've been watching edit, is it's significantly easier to put something where you want, and it's handy to see how the page is actually built. So in this example right here, if I can make it any bigger, maybe. No, that doesn't change anything. You can see there's actually a container with nothing in it in between these two sections. And when you put the page in edit mode, now that's very clear. You've got all this stuff. If you want to delete this container, that might not be a bad idea. So, if nothing else, for performance reasons, there's some queries happening there that don't need to happen. I know in earlier versions of our edit experience, really with 5.7 forward, people observed that, like, yeah, it's really picky. Like, you have to, you're looking for like 1 pixel or 2 pixel hotspots to drop a block. And this interface change represents kind of a pivot back towards an earlier version of Concrete back in the 5.6 days and earlier, where blocks and block areas had a pretty thick border on it and in edit mode, and you could really get a stronger tactile sense as to how the page was built when you pop the page in edit mode. Perfectly happy to believe that the pendulum may have swung too far. That's a pretty natural thing to have happen. You're trying to solve a problem and you kind of swing it back a little bit too much. So if there were a pull request that dials some of these areas down a little bit, so they're still much larger than they were, but not quite as large as they may be now, I think that would be something that we would happily review. I would also offer that, from my perspective, the power of in-context editing or kind of WYSIWYG, like changing something from the page, is the fact that you don't have to go somewhere else. When we first built Concrete many, many moons ago, almost all content management systems had kind of a back end and a front end. And if you wanted to change something in a press release over here, you had to go log into the dashboard, find it in some form over here, change it, and then make sure, does that look like what I want it to look like? Okay, good. And you're switching between these two windows. And it's just a miserable experience. It just feels like, kind of like a printing press, where it's like, well, everything is backwards and I'm covered in ink and lead, and I hope what I get is what I wanted. And we started from day one saying, this should not be like a printing press. This should be like a word processor. If I see a typo, I should be able to fix a typo with a minimum number of clicks. It should feel intuitive and natural and easy. I don't think that means it has to feel exactly the same in edit mode versus view mode. And you can see for a long time, for example, the things like the slideshow block up there are disabled in edit mode because they interact poorly with the JavaScript rollovers. And so I think you know, if the question is, hey, people are having a measurably more difficult time with this editing experience because nested containers give me areas that are impossible to hit because there's so much padding on them now, that strikes me as a problem that we need to address. If the measure of success is, hey, edit mode looks a little bit different than view mode, I can't help but to wonder, is like, well, yeah, that's so you can edit things. Go ahead, check in your changes. You don't even have to publish them, save them, see what the page looks like in view mode, and rinse, lather, and repeat. Don't know, but that's my take on this so far. I do see some comments in here saying, look, so I'd ask for, can I see some examples of how this is falling apart? And I do see, I think John is saying, yeah, put a 6-column container or nest something else in there and you'll see how painful it is. So might try to go ahead and do this and just make a Loom video so we can all have a better sense as to like, oh yeah, this is where it actually does become difficult for somebody to use if they're trying to use it versus hey, it just feels different than it used to. So I don't know, again, open to pull requests that make it better. Certainly not arguing that what we have today is perfect. But I will argue that what we have today is massively better than 9.1. It is much simpler, in my experience, than the editing that I'm doing across these sites and the people who I talk to. Being able to figure out which container is which, grab the right container. If you're looking at a different page, like I want to rebuild something like that, you can actually see what containers are doing what. And you just have a better sense as to what building blocks are you using to build the site. So there you go. That is what I know. No, I don't have a official release date for 9.2.1, but as I said before, soon, sure. I think that we're waiting to see if there's anything else that needs to be included in that, but doesn't seem like there is. And that's what I know. Thank you very much, everybody. We will see you again in a month.